If you were gone yesterday, the packets are up here if you need one. We did the first 3 eyes together, and we're going to finish up that third eye that we started yesterday. So,
I need a packet.
Right there. And this extra handout. Alright, so we've done all of our shading on the top, and we were working on the shading on the bottom of the eye. Remember, you need to have all your shading done before you draw what?
Eyelashes.
Your eyelashes and what else?
Eyebrows.
And your eyebrow. Pretty much any sharp lines that you do not want to be smoothed out, they're up here. Then you need to wait to do those until you have most of your shading done. In this gray tray. And then once you have your shading then you can go through and add your eyelashes. Remember that your eyelashes curl to the side. They do not go straight up. They have a curve to them. The only ones that should go straight up are the ones towards the middle because you're looking right at them. You have to think about your perspective of what you're drawing. Your top lashes start from the underneath of the eyelid, and then your bottom lashes start from that little white lip on the bottom eyelid. And you can switch between your lighter shades and your darker shades when you start finalizing your shading. Remember, you don't want to start with the darkest shade because it's harder to erase. And those of you that were absent, if you take your packet with you today, you can watch the demo video on Google Classroom. I posted what we did in class yesterday. I'll try to do that each day, so if you are gone on demo days, you should be able to go back and watch those videos. And then when we're shading or drawing the hairs on the eyebrow, what direction are we supposed to be drawing the hairs?
Starting up and then going like sideways.
So we're drawing them in the direction that the hair is growing. So it's not a scribble. You have to kind of look at what your picture looks like, and you're drawing those individual hairs. You're doing hash marks. The more lines you put, the darker that's going to look. And then this one's hairs look like they go in mostly the same direction. Remember, the top one above it went in kind of different directions because it kind of bead at the middle. Remember, you should see very little of the white of the paper on a value drawing because everything has some value except for your reflections. As your white areas are not going to be truly white. They're going to at least be lightly shaded. And keep your blending tools cleaned off. If you need new sandpaper, let me know.
Miss Mindy,
Yes, sir.
can I have some more sandpaper?
Yep. Anyone else need some more sandpaper? Sandpaper, anybody? Does anyone else need new sandpaper? If yours is getting really worn out from using it, you need a new piece.
I'll take it.
Anybody else? Okay. So we're going to go ahead and move on to the bottom one because I know several of you guys are ready. If you're not quite caught up, don't worry about it. You'll have some time to catch up. So this one's got kind of a droopy kind of shape because it goes down on both sides. And it's really pointy. So I'm just drawing that basic shape. And then I also want to make sure that I have enough room to draw his little eyebrow there. Now with his iris and his pupil and pupil are both really dark, but you can still see that he's got a pupil. So when we start shading, we're going to have to shade it to where they're almost matching. But you can still see his reflection and his pupil there. Take the pass, please. Bathroom pass. And then his eyelid is lined up really close to his eyeball. And he's got that hooded lid. And then he's got a very defined bottom lid. So who can remind me what the lines are called when we're just doing the outlines? What are they called?
Contrast?
What is it?
Contrast?
Not contrast, close.
Isn't it like contour?
Contour, yes. Contour lines. Think about coloring book pages. Those are all contour lines. And then he still has a tear duct, but it doesn't show a whole lot because of the fold of his eye. And then you're ready to start shading your different values. And I'm going to wait to shade the inside of his iris until I switch to my darker shades. So I'm going to shade all my other lighter values first, because we're going to have to shade his iris and his pupil really dark. And with his eyelashes, he's got eyelashes, but they're almost like a line because they're so short and close together. And you can see the shadow underneath his eyebrow that goes along the bridge of his nose, where his nose would be. So you'll see as I'm shading this pupil and this iris, I'm getting those shades really close together so that way you can almost barely see his pupil. And then with his eyelashes, they still curl to the side, but they're really short. So I'm just doing some small lines to create his eyelashes.
I did really good on this one. I think this one's my favorite. The bottom.
Yeah, my first one.
Your first one looks fair.
Yeah, I think so.
Guys, don't be scared to go a little bit darker with your values. You want to exaggerate those values.
My nose on page 2 looks like a very sad potato. I don't know what you're talking about.
I would go in and for some reason.
That's the one that looks like a very sad potato.
So it's just gonna be right.
on my shape.
Don't get-
I draw.
Don't get hung up
That's the one
too
Miss
much.
Mindy saw, that's how.
I don't know how to draw guys on it. Well, that's just because like you're so little. So.
Okay, so the shapes are looking good. Alright, when you're blending, make sure you're going for what's thin dots. I know we try it when it's pretty dirty.
Okay.
Because when you're blending for dirty, all you're doing is smearing dirty crap on it, and so you lose all your shape.
Okay. So after everything goes in there.
You need to clean it off. Make sure you're shading it.
What was that for? I've been good all day. I just want to look at other things.
Oh, you don't want to see mine.
That looks so good. My favorite
Yeah, that one was
For that one, I just like circle.
But mine was wood.
This one looks good.
When you guys agree? Mine looks way better than yours.
Make sure you keep your reflection. Honey, honey,
Not even miss me out.
You always have some sort of reflection.
It's just the way you started laughing. What?
I don't know. It's weird.
You're weird.
I'm not gonna do it.
Alright. If you're not quite done with the eyes, don't worry, you can always go back and get those finished up. But we're going to move on to your noses.
The lips are what's I can't.
How many of you guys chose pictures with teeth showing?
I don't even know.
Just keep in mind, teeth are difficult. Alright, but we're going to start with the noses.
Good luck. I gotta draw an ear. So how am I supposed to do that?
Just look at the shape.
Yeah, sure. It's half the ear. So that's good.
Yep, I don't have ear examples.
His jawline really gonna be looking fine.
Alright, so there's some tricks with the noses and the mouths. Alright, you can use my suggestion that I give you, or if you want to try to freehand it without the guidelines, you're more than welcome to do that as well. It tends to be a lot easier for most people when they use these guidelines. So when you're looking at a nose, let's set up please. When you're looking at a nose, what's the first thing you see? Okay, the tip of it. So you draw a circle for a tip.
Wait, what are you using?
I'm just using my 2H.
Oh, you're not using 4H?
That's not a circle.
I use a little bit of a darker shade so you guys can see it.
Okay.
Okay, so I would stick with your 4H because you don't want to start with your darker shades until you're ready to start shading darker. Alright, so I'm starting with the circle on their nose, and that's the tip. What's the next thing you see on the nose?
The bridge.
You see the bridge, but what's beside the tip? Nostrils. So then you can draw 2 small circles for their nostrils.
Man, I made that circle.
Yep. And the size of your circles is going to determine the size of your nose. So don't draw really tiny circles for the nostrils and the tip like this. That's way too small. The smaller you draw, the harder it's going to be on you.
For me, it's the opposite. The bigger I make it, the worse it looks.
Alright, so with these circles, these are your guidelines so that way you can start placing everything. So go ahead and draw those guidelines and then I will show you guys how to start drawing the nose. I want you to at least to attempt this guideline. Okay, I want you to try it. And on this part, if I'm moving too fast for you guys, please let me know so I can slow down. Alright, does everybody have their guidelines? Alright, so to figure out the shape of the nose, you're going to start at the bottom of the nose. So this section right here above the Cupid's bow, that little dip in the lip. Alright, so this goes a little bit below that circle. And it's kind of got like a curved straight line here. And then you're going to draw up into the nostrils right on the edge of those two circles. Okay. Make sure you guys are following along. And then you've got the side of the nostrils that go up towards that middle circle. These guidelines, these three little circles that you have on the inside, those are going to be erased eventually. Okay, those are just to help you get the shape of the nose. So I've got the little curved part on the underneath their nose above the Cupid's bow. We've got their nostrils. And then we've got the curved part of the
lines look too harsh.
too harsh, like too angled.
Like straight. I don't know.
Like they go
Are they too straight?
Yeah, like they're not curved like we're supposed to. So.
Then erase it and curve them. The only way to fix it is by erasing it and retrying.
Okay, like.
What?
Bring me your paper.
Looking head on to the camera.
So like.
Like
On the nostril part. Like you see how it looks?
like it's too curved in.
I don't know. So if my lines aren't connecting correctly, maybe.
Hmm?
Never use guidelines for anything.
Yeah.
Just means that they can do. Thank you.
Right? And then you're going to bring the bridge of the nose up. Now the bridge of your nose, where does that end at? When everybody look at their bridge.
Oh, it goes to your brow.
It goes to your brow. So is it curved or is it straight?
Right. It's straight and then it curves.
Yes. It curves up and out. Don't put straight lines up and down. Okay? You have to make it look like it's going to lead to an eyebrow. Okay? Whether you can see the eyebrow on this person or not. They've got eyebrows. Alright? And then I'm going to erase those two small circles and the top of that big circle. You can use whichever eraser you need to use. And then the tip of the nose has a rounded area to it. Okay? So don't get completely rid of that rounded area. Because when you start shading, those lines are going to start disappearing. Alright? Once I have all these lines drawn out, I'm ready to start shading. Your shading's what's going to make the nose really look three-dimensional. So the nostrils are going to be the darker area of your nose. Why do you think that is?
Because it's the inside of the
It's the inside of the nose, so it does not have a lot of light, and it's casting some shadow. So we're going to draw.
Mine kind of looks like a stupid vase.
Some dark shadows coming from that nostril.
Are you shading now or what?
Yep, we're just shading now.
What pencil are you using for that?
I'm still using my 2H. We don't go to the darker shades until you have those lighter shades
Already done.
first, because those darker shades are just going to make everything really dark. And remember, as you're shading, clean off your shading tool, because you don't want to just smear around dirty graphite off of your shading tool.
Daniel, what did you just do? Like, what?
What?
How does it look?
What did you just do?
What do you mean?
On the side. How'd you do that? What did you just do?
I started dark around the arch,
Okay.
and then I just lightened it up as it went outward.
What's for not looking straight at the camera?
Yeah, true. My God.
If they're not looking straight out at the camera, then you're just going to have to pay attention to which way the shadows are going.
No, I meant for how to draw it. If they're not looking straight at the camera.
Then follow the shape of the nose.
Okay.
All you're going to do is you're going to break it down into shape. Because when we are drawing our portraits, if you got a side view or an angled view, you're going to be gridding these. So that means you're going to break them down into square pieces, and you're just going to draw what you see. Okay? Think about when you drew the still life. Did I tell you to look at the whole still life at once?
Yeah.
No.
No. What did I tell you to look at?
I just looked at it all.
A certain object every time.
Yeah, a certain piece each time. You wanted to break it down into pieces. Okay? So if you're drawing a face, break it down. Draw an eye, then draw the other eye, then the nose, then the mouth. Don't try to draw it all at once.
So is one side going to be shaded more than the other?
On this one?
Yeah.
Yes. Yep. The left side's going to be darker than the right side because it's got more of a shadow. And I'm just looking at where those shadows are. And there's no highlights, so we shouldn't have any white of the paper showing on the nose. It should all be shaded. It's just practice. And guys, also realize that this paper that I've printed these handouts on, are they meant for drawing like this? No. Okay? It's a very low grade paper. So when you start drawing and shading your portraits on your good drawing paper, it's going to be a lot smoother of shading. It's not going to be as rough because it's a high grit paper.
Homegirl kind of looks like a nose.
Mine looks like a tree without roots.
Mine
Mine's
looks like
broken.
that.
Mine is broken.
If it doesn't look quite right, you can always take your eraser and erase the parts that don't look right. Erase the whole thing if you need to and try again. I'd rather you guys erase and retry on these than keep having to practice on your actual project.
Yeah, listen, yours just looks good and mine just doesn't.
Okay, you cannot base yours off of mine.
Yes, I can.
No.
I just
It's a
did.
free country.
Okay? Think about how long I have been doing this.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna do
At least a year.
Okay? I've been drawing since I was 13 years old. Okay? Shh. I've went to college for this. I took a lot of advanced courses for this. It takes practice. Takes lots of practice.
I do not mind fine motor control.
I just don't know.
That ain't bad.
I just don't think
No, the second one.
Bro, you think about Brown's Road?
Wait, which one? This one or this one?
First one was that.
Okay, because I keep looking at Italian. Car sales are
Alright guys, I need you to like calm down like 5 notches. It's not that serious. You guys can do this.
Have you seen my noses?
Come
here, look at this.
Yeah.
Dude, they look like old potatoes.
Somebody needs to see my magnet.
They're like,
Yeah, I can do it.
I'll do that.
I'm sure it's really.
You already did.
You mind?
You don't even need this one.
True. Actually, I can just fail this one.
You could actually fail.
Okay.
You fail on this another match.
Oops.
Okay. I will never.
Alright.
5 minutes.
Okay, so we are going to start cleaning up.
Nice.
I've got 2 bottles of the spray now so we can all spray off our desks. Huh?
It's only 52.
You telling me that's not clean up? Lexi said we can't clean up yet.
I
did not
Why
say
did you
that.
say that?
I did not say that.
Oh.
Why are you putting words in my mouth? It's only 52. Guys, also please be careful and keep your pencils away from other people so you guys don't accidentally mix them up. And you don't want to mix everything up. So let's go ahead and put our portfolios away. The spray is at table 2 and 3 and we'll work our way around. Everybody go grab some paper towels.
Oh, I was kidding. After you.
Miss Minnie, I'm taking my home.
Okay. If you take them home to work on them or get caught up, please make sure you bring them back. If you were absent, take yours with you, watch the videos, and catch up because you guys have to turn these in.
You really need to appropriate.
So,
Okay,
what?
don't go overboard.
Did you already like your
Guys, do not go overboard with the spray. That's why we run out so quick.
No, this spray tastes like booty.
Don't drink the spray.
I did it.
Stuart.
I did it.
That's the blue hug
Yeah.
barrel thing.
He gave it to me and I just like sprayed it all in my mouth. Oh,
And then tomorrow, if we can work well, I'll let you guys finish your movie.
You should learn just not even question
It's a lie, it's empty.
I'm on Friday.
Oh, I think.
Like count, I'm ready.
Is it actually?
Yeah.
Very nice.
Looks like you got your hand. What?
I definitely put into it. It didn't even dry mine.
Go to the angle.
No,
Because I messed with that sudden.
The brush is really good at first.
Don't use them, right?
Hours?
Yeah, so when you throw a pencil
Things
up,
kinda
you're
suck.
gonna dude that's gonna. I'll throw it right back in, you don't worry.
Alright, guys, if we're cleaned up, we got our table spread, let's sit down. Unless you're putting chairs up, then you can stand at your desk. Sit down. If your chair is not on a table, you can sit down.
Angela, you get this.
That's our machine. You can see for us.
I didn't know.
You guys have about 3.5 minutes